And this is also a really good exercise for after Thanksgiving. And what I want you to do is, instead of waiting for me to tell you what we talked about in the last lecture, why don't you write a few notes to yourself about what you think we talked about in the last lecture. Well, I had an idea that I wanted to teach a class where music was the basis for talking about a whole range of social phenomena, where we could use music, particularly Latin American music, because I study Latin America and I teach about Latin America and about Latin Americans living in the United States, where we could take music as a way of exciting students about themes that oftentimes seem frightening or upsetting, right? Themes like slavery, themes like colonialism, like sexual and racial oppression, gender, things that oftentimes when we raise them outside of the context of a very engaging and engaged topic can actually make students feel uncomfortable. You start on the one hand with the son, which is evolving out of a certain kind of tradition, and now here you can hear an example of a danzón.
I decided to take this class because I love music, I'm a musician, and I particularly love Latin music. I felt like I didn't really know anything about Cuban music, I didn't know anything about salsa or cha-cha or son or things like that, so I thought this would be a great and fun class to take.
And they're Afro-Cuban, they're brown men, men who are aware of not only the classical traditions of Cuban music, but also of the street traditions of Cuban music, and they start to imagine ways of incorporating the innovations that Senor Rodriguez brought to us.
The website for the class includes video clips and audio clips, and then also information about what we've already covered in lecture and the reading, and then sort of background information on what we're looking at online. And it really rounds out what we're learning. You know, when you're reading something, especially about music, sometimes it's hard to comprehend all of it, but when you have the audio and the visual to go along with it, it really brings it all together and drives all of the points home. So
one of the challenges in order to put this course together was to try and figure out how to present students with the music and the video that I wanted them to be analyzing. When I was a student, the way that you took a music class was that you went to a listening lab. Once a week you had an assignment where you would go to the library, and there they would lend you on reserve an album or a cassette tape, actual vinyl, and you would go and listen to it on headphones in a lab, and I thought that it was possible nowadays to actually share music with students in a way that would be much more contemporary. The second unit is about the process by which that music produced by people who in many ways are spurned by society goes to being music that national elites celebrate as part of their national identity.
You know, there's a lot of information about the social history, how this music came about, who made it, and things like that.
You know, I can hear things and say, oh, that is derived from Africa, or that instrument came from this place, and so it's really exciting. It's really opened my ears to music even more.
Students tell me that many of the issues that they talk about in this class become very meaningful for them, or are meaningful for them, and they appreciate not just the ability to talk about music, but also all of the social context that they get for it. Many of the students come in knowing the music but not knowing the history, and other students come in knowing the history and not knowing the music, and some of them come in not knowing either, and I feel, at least from what I hear from them, that they all come out taking away something that they didn't come in with. And they start to imagine ways of incorporating the innovations that Senor Rodriguez has brought to the son, to the band format of the son, into their charanga format. So they're trying to think about how to make the musical instruments that they have available to them, possibly apply them to the kinds of things that the son montuno has brought to Cuban music. And so what I want you to do is listen to this. This is a song called La Encarnización.
Oh, it's even better. It's my favorite class of the semester.